Wisconsin, the state that I call the state of nothingness. They were driving through that state, and a great storm came upon them. My mom said that the wind started and their parental station wagon was all over the road. The rain was coming down, hail's coming down, and my mom's still crying. You'd be crying if you just left the most beautiful person on the face of the planet too. And she looked at my mom, because how many know your mom is usually the smart one on these trips, you know? My mom looked at my dad and said, honey, we're not in a hurry. This is a bad storm. We should pull over and get a hotel. But how many of you know how your dad can be on this trip? I'm paraphrasing. My dad looked back at my mom and he said, honey, why don't you just sit back and let me handle this, because I've driven through rain, I've driven through snow, I've driven through hail. They call me the postman. Just keep driving. So my dad kept driving. All of a sudden, my mom said that the storm got worse. Hail, rain, wind, man, there's station wagons all over the road. My mom, who's the intense one of the two of them, got a little bit more intense, said, honey, we've had a hard day. We just left our most beautiful son on the face of the earth at North Center. We need to pull over and get a hotel. Then my dad, I'm paraphrasing again, baby, why don't you just sit back and let Big Daddy handle this one, all right? I got this. They kept right on driving. As they kept on driving, about 15 minutes later, my mom said that all of a sudden, it got real dark. The rain stopped, the wind stopped, the hail stopped, everything got really, really still and really, really quiet. And then my mom said it was like a freight truck semi out of the middle of nowhere rear-ended them, only it wasn't a freight truck semi. See, they were right smack dab in the center of an eye of a tornado that was approximately 3 miles long that destroyed 3 towns there in the state of Wisconsin. And how many of you know, at this point, Dad wishes he would have pulled over and got a hotel? You always wonder what you would pray in these situations, you know? Like, I said, Mom, what did y'all pray? How many know you ain't got time for like some big fancy church deal, you know? Like, oh Lord, if it be thy will, come into thy whirlwind. God, begin to blossom and anoint. Lord, bring the balm of Gilead, the oil of the Spirit. Oh, let it blossom and blossom. Blossom and bosom. Let it begin to run down the spine of the vehicle. Oh God! Hallelujah! 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 You ain't got time for all that. I said, Mom, what did y'all pray? My mom said, wait, your dad yelled 2 words. Jesus! Jesus help, they're off the ground. My mom reached back to grab a pillow. You know, make sure you got your in the middle of it. Make sure you have your pillow, you know? And when she reached back to grab her pillow, my dad took her head, shoved it in the floorboard, took his own head, shoved it in the floorboard. Perfect timing because the windows caved in on the car. Things are flying through the vehicle, man. Cells and cows and dogs. And you believe that? We're going to pray for you in a second, you know? And things are flying through the car. And then all of a sudden, my mom said it was like out of the middle of nowhere. Something came and just pushed them into a ditch. The interesting thing about the story is the car in front of them flipped several times and there were people that were injured. The car behind them flipped several times and there were people that died in that vehicle. Do you think when my mom and dad left Minneapolis, Minnesota to drive back to Indiana, do you think that they got in the car and they said, you know what would be neat today? It'd be neat if on the way home we could run into a tornado. Now, you don't do that. You don't go looking for storms. Actually, there are people that do. They're called storm chasers. These people.
This guy. He's so funny. He's just so funny.
These people stop laughing at me. You gotta be smarter than the poncho. Just create your own arms, alright? Stop! These people will throw on a rain jacket or a poncho, and while the rest of us, when the hurricane is coming, will go to our bathtubs. They're like, yeah, hurricane, let's go! And they're chasing towards the tornado, towards the hurricane. How many of you wonder what these people eat for breakfast in the morning, dude? Like, dude, have you lost your lid? What is wrong with you, fool? The rest of us are going or leaving the city. You're like, yay, let's go. We might die. And then you've got the newscasters. You know what I'm talking about. The guys there on the beach, and they're standing there, and the hurricane's coming in. And there's always, have you ever noticed there's always a boat behind those dudes? And the boat, you know, and here they are. They're standing on the beach. And folks, as you can see behind me, the winds are growing more rapidly now. We're at 70 miles an hour. It is now a Category 2, moving into a Category 4 hurricane. And friends, as you can see, the wind is coming in. And the hurricane, the eye of the hurricane is just a couple miles off the coast now. And they're standing. And then the boat's like, How many of you watch these people and you go, dude, what made you, when you were in junior high school, go, I'd like to do that job? You know who I feel sorry for? The cameraman. They ain't get no glory in this. They're like, dude, shut up! We gotta get out of here, fool! Trying to hold this thing steady for you, man. Take that rain poncho off and go! Because people don't just go looking for storms.